Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Border City Rock Talk. We get great news, great interviews, great interviewees, and sometimes a comedic touch. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button below. Today, I have legendary guitarist, not necessarily in my home, but in his chateau in France, Chris Holmes, formerly of W.A.S.P. How you doing, Chris?
Oh, cowabunga. I'm doing good. I'm doing good, after the COVID thing and sitting around and got sick with cancer. I'm doing good. I'm still recovering from it, going through the whatever the radiation's just getting whatever that's done to me,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
radiation. Yeah.
So I'll just let the
Yeah.
viewers know there's a bit of a delay, obviously, because we're across the pond. So there's going to be a delay. So speaking of the cancer that you had, Chris, I wanted to
Yeah.
ask you, in reference to France and the US, how did you find the French medical system? How is it compared to in the US?
Uh, um, Good. It's good. I'm thankful, very, very thankful that the government, took me in and, you know, paid for my treatment or half of it, most of it, or whatever, all getting on the machine and stuff like that. The other things they didn't, but I haven't been in the United States for 10 years. So I couldn't tell you what it's like the medical now. Um,
Yeah, but
yeah.
back in the day, what would you like? Do you remember when back in the day how it was, or were you doing pretty good that it wasn't anything you had concerns over? Well, obviously you were healthy too, so
Yeah. No, yeah. I was never really sick in America. I did go off a cliff on a motorcycle once years ago when I was like 19.
oh
I ended up
man,
in the hospital for 6 months.
whoa, really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What did they put in stints or rods, or like would you break your back or?
No, I broke four vertebrae in my back, and they had to pull my spine apart so the blood and everything would flow on the inside. If not, I would be paralyzed. They pull it. They just put tension on my legs. I was in traction for a few months. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Then
Um,
I could. They said um, if I did everything right, I'll walk again. Have no problems. So I did.
wow, that's great.
Yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
gotta ask you. I messaged your nice wife about this. That video. I don't know if she showed you. You're playing in. I think it was Dublin. You're playing with your former bandmates, and the one guy looks like Bumblefoot. Is that Bumblefoot or not? I swear to
No.
God, he looks like him. And
No. No. No.
do you see why I say that though? Because he looks like him. He's a good singer, but he also played that fretless guitar.
Bumblefoot was one of his favorite. His name's Tom. Um, and Bumblefoot was one of his favorite players, and he was a really really good guitar player, Tom. And he just, yeah, he did look like him. He did look like him. Tom was six. He was like 6'5", tall. He's as tall as me.
And
You know.
he's a French citizen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I'll get off of that. But just the guy that published or recorded that video, I put it in the comments. Oh man, that's got to be Bumblefoot. And the guy goes, "No, I recorded it. It wasn't him." And I met Chris at backstage after the show and stuff. And
Yeah.
so I still thought this guy just looks like him. But anyways, anywho, now you remember the Canadian band Anvil?
Yeah.
And do you know about their documentary a few years ago?
Yeah. 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 That's what kind of pushed him not just to stardom, but helped him get more notoriety. I know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's funny that they inspired Metallica, and the fact is they're kind of like not an underdog, but kind of an underdog where their story came around. And I find it kind of unique with your story, your documentary, Mean Man. Do you agree, or how the industry treated you?
Um, what do you mean by the industry treated me?
Well, I'm saying as a talent that inspired many, many people to play guitar, to get into rock. Anvil inspired these, you know, bands that are worth millions of dollars. And at the time, a few years ago, when I interviewed Lips, he was still working at a food processing plant during the week.
Yeah.
and so he had a kind of a struggle.
It happens, you know. I I don't want to sit and get into my payments or
No,
whatever
no, no. I
with
wasn't going
W.A.S.P.
there. Yeah,
I don't make sense the documentary or whatever. I've never been paid my publishing. Big deal. That's just the way it is.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and my documentary is more about me um leaving United States.
Yeah.
Because I tried for 14 years. I didn't really, you know, wasn't 100% of it wasn't my main goal, but I tried and tried to get a band going in LA where all the musicians are. But and in 2000 it kind of changed a lot, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's more or less me starting over here in Europe, starting a band and just getting things going here, by myself, me being Chris Holmes, whatever.
Yeah.
And the struggles, my friend goes, man, you should have, been seen on a tour bus and this and that. Why were you seen in a little car? I go, because that's the truth, man. There's one thing I ain't gonna do. I ain't gonna lie. There's something about me. If I lie, my face says liar, man. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Um,
You're not a sellout.
it's not that. It's I got to live with myself. It, it
Yeah.
it's and I don't want to bring up a bad subject, but what really killed me is during the Headless Children when we started sampling. I hated it. It wasn't real. It wasn't real. I felt like I was ripping the crowd off. It wasn't real. I don't care what people say, sounds better, whatever. We were sampling, and I felt like I was ripping people off.
Well, it's a good point because I talked to I think it was Joey from Warrenton. They had session guitarists come in and play a lot of the leads back in the day.
But that's
Um,
okay. They're playing, and then they go out and play live. That's okay.
no, no, he was saying they had session guitarists play on the album, but
Yeah,
then they go out and play it live, and they had to learn those
yeah.
leads. But
But that ain't lying.
no, well,
That
yeah,
ain't
you're right.
lying.
You're
That
right.
ain't lying to people. That's just somebody
Yeah,
come in and play.
yeah,
Somebody that was a better player or whatever.
yeah. So that's obvious. I obviously know your stance on vocal tracking at the big shows now, right? With how it's going on, and a lot of the singers aren't even singing their parts, or even guitar players aren't even playing.
I don't go to too many shows here, so I don't know. All I know is what I see on the internet.
Yeah,
Sometimes something pops up and I watch it, but if if people wanted to, if they want to go see somebody sing karaoke or whatever, that's
good
fine.
point. Good point, man. So you've been in France. Before that, you were in Finland.
Yeah.
So walking around France, have you run into Roman Polanski or Don?
No, no.
Because I interviewed Don, and he said, well, I'm not going to be political, but he said if something happened, he'd be moving to France.
Don't,
Don Dokken.
oh, why would he move to France?
Well, he didn't agree with what was going on in the States politically, and he said if so and so got elected, I'm moving to France.
Oh, I that's if you're an American, you're American.
Yeah, yeah. So how do you?
Regardless, hey, the majority votes in whatever. Biden was voted in 4 years ago. I mean,
Yeah,
they say it wasn't a real election, whatever, this and that. And, who knows? But hey, Trump's voted in. He's the president. He's our president. I'm going to go with that. That's the way it is.
yep.
Got to go with the majority.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, what are your plans on? So you said it's been 10 years to be in the States. You're doing Mean Man. You have a couple albums and EP. Is there any
Yeah.
chance because you're going to Mork, you're going to be meeting with your good buddy Carlos Cavasso? And I got to thank Vicky for kind of help because I've been reaching out to your wife for this interview for 3 friggin' years,
Okay.
and you're busy. But anyways, when I mentioned that Carlos mentioned you in the interview, that's when this all happened. So I got to thank Vicky for that. And guess what shirt I'm wearing?
I'll bang your head.
Yeah, Vicky Cavasso. I'll put a link
Did
down below.
Carlos?
So
Did he
you're going?
explain to you how long we've known each other?
How long?
Did he explain to you how long we go
No,
back?
no.
Well, we go
He
back
just
to
said you guys are gonna meet on the cruise ship.
yeah, but we go back to 75, 76.
Wow.
Yeah, long time ago. We've known each other that long.
Well, he played on the W.A.S.P album, didn't he, as an additional guitarist?
Carlos?
I thought he did. Additional.
No, he
Ma-
sang on he if I did most of the guitar, I don't care what anybody says.
No, I believe you.
Blackie can say whatever. You know, I did every guitar on the Headless Children. I did almost all of them on the other ones, you know. It's
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, Carlos, he came in and sang on some when we were at Pasha. I know
Okay.
that.
Maybe that was what I saw.
You know, Carlos, I don't know if DeBro did. Rudy might have. They sang all the way on the last. I couldn't
Well, Frankie
remember, man. But
Banali's
you can
been.
tell it's Quiet Riot. You can tell it's Quiet Riot's voices because you can hear Carlos really good, you know.
Yeah.
But I've known Carlos. I've known him way before he was ever in Quiet Riot. He's in a band called Snow.
Yeah.
You know, I've known him back before Snow.
Well,
You know, when
when
he
we
lived in
talked,
Newport Beach. Huh?
when we talked, I found out about "Bang Your Head" was originally a Snow song called "No More."
No, it's called What a Drag, No More Booze.
Yeah. Isn't that great?
Yeah, Tony wrote it. His brother.
Yeah.
His brother. I played that song probably back in 20 no would be oh man it'd be before 1980. Before that, Tony came up and played with me with my band. I had another band at one time, Buster Savage or whatever. Tony's Carlos's brother. He's a bass player, real good bass player too. He's a bass player in Hurricane.
Yeah. So
You know,
after
but we're old friends.
So you're looking forward to that meeting on the cruise. Is there any chance of you playing any more shows in the States at some point?
No, I'm going to do Canada after the cruise.
Yeah, I heard that. Where are you going to be in Canada? Are you going to be in Toronto?
Yeah, my wife told me she told me the dates, and I forgot them.
That's okay.
It's right after the cruise. It's within a week after the cruise. I know we got to go to rehearsal up where you're at, and then there's a bunch of dates booked. It's within 2 weeks after the cruise.
Is it going to be a headline show, or are you going to be supporting?
Yeah. I'm gonna just do the club things like I always have. You know, I don't really need to, keep playing the whatever. If I'm gonna play, I like playing clubs because people are right there, right in your face, man.
Yeah, for sure.
I just did some shows in England. It was great. It was great.
So you're doing a lot of things in England. What's the difference? What was the first thing you found as a culture shock moving full time to France?
Well, it wasn't something that we planned on. It just happened to be that way. It's just I went to Finland. They believe this. I'm going to say they drank too much. You know, I quit drinking. I just quit drinking in '96.
Congratulations.
But I never drank. I never drank and went on stage in W.A.S.P. I did one time at the Troubadour, but other than that, I never did because it's you can go to a bar and watch a drunk. But anyway, I moved to Finland and they played this band called Baton Rouge Morgue, and it's just they rather have partied more than get the job done. And we decided after that I was going to stay there and play with them for a while, but it wasn't worth me wasting my time. We came down to France just to visit Sarah's parents, and her dad was ill, pretty bad, and her mom was taking care of her dad. So we decided to help her for a little bit down here, and I put the band together while I was here. And I went to Hellfest. I met Antoine, the guy that did the documentary. He's also done a bunch of my videos here. That's actually helped my career, in my solo albums or whatever, the Mean Man songs,
right.
Yeah.
So in France, what was the biggest culture shock though?
Well, I've been here before a bunch of times.
Like, do you have a bidet in your house?
Do I have what?
A bidet? in your house?
A bidet? No, no. That's a toilet that's got the sink in it. It's just, you wash your hands or your ass or your nuts. No. But there's a lot of. I was just visiting my friend in the Brian Wheat. He's a bass player in Tesla.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just visiting him 2 days ago. He lives almost at a place called Luciano in Italy, but it's kind of like in between Pisa and Florence. It's only 6 hours to drive there, and I was down there. We were writing some songs, but he's got bidets at his house.
That's interesting because the last time I talked to Brian, he was living, I think it was somewhere in, I don't know, Arizona or something, or Colorado. That was about 5 years ago.
Oh,
So
now he lives in New York.
yeah, we're having sorry about that. We're just having a bit of a
There.
video delay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So
Yeah. Sometimes it stops. And they just put in fiber optics here, and it's worse than it was.
is that right?
Is that funny?
So are you living in
Yeah.
Nice?
I live in a place called Cannes, where the Cannes film.
Oh, Cairns. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So
right by Nice. It's 20 miles from Nice.
right. So
That's what I had to go to Nice every day to do my cancer treatment every day.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so you're obviously cancer free now. You go for what, regular quarterly checkups, or
I go February to get on the MRI machine. They shoot me up with dye, and then they see if the cancer has come back or whatever.
Yeah. Well, you're looking good.
Yeah.
Are you writing right now?
Yeah.
Always writing? Oh, I was going to ask you, what do you think kind of your favorite riffs that you would say that you wrote back in the days in the other band?
Oh, I like 9-5 Nasty. I like the chorus to that 9-5 Nasty. I like the chorus to Wild Child.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot of stuff that I wasn't credited for that I didn't even look at when the album came out. I should have paid more attention, but I didn't. It's my own fault. Nobody else's. I trusted.
Yeah, here's my unique thing was that Steven is a bassist, and I thought, well, I would think a guitar player, you or Randy, would get credit for a riff. But anyways,
no. It's all about the money and them, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to ask you about this one thing about W.A.S.P, and I think you'll clear it up because you're not in the band, you have no allegiance.
Right.
What was the original intent of the name W.A.S.P? We had white Anglo-Saxon we are sexual perverts. What is the real name? What is the deal?
When I first joined, it meant white Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
Wow.
That's what I was. What Blackie gave me a tape. This was back in 81, 82 when he first wanted me in the band. I didn't want to play them then. And he goes, I want to talk to you. And Randy was in the band, so I said, yeah, we went to this place called Dominic's Pizza in La Crescenta, and he pulled out this tape, W.A.S.P, and I never knew what white Anglo-Saxon Protestant meant, but I thought a bug, and then I goes, wow, is this about a bug? And he goes, no, it's white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. I was like, whatever that means, but that's what it meant. And then to make it sound like we're not putting a stamp on anything, they put periods behind it. That's what, but what happens is why the periods are behind it, because when all the other names like Dokken, Metallica, Armored Saint, when it's all in print, W.A.S.P is all capital letters. So it sticks out subconsciously.
Yeah.
That was the first idea of the whole thing, too.
Wow. I
And it
mean,
could mean, we are sexual perverts. There. I always would like to think there isn't really a stamp on the thing.
but originally that's what it was. So I mean,
Well,
that's yeah.
did W.A.S.P did they have a song called "Show No Mercy"? I couldn't even tell you, but in the "Show No Mercy" in the song it goes, "White Anglo-Saxon, a violent reaction." It says that in the song,
Wow.
but I
Wow.
don't even know if we record. I don't know if it's on an album. I couldn't tell you. I don't. Once the album was done, I never listened to it. I don't
Yeah.
even have any. I don't even have any, so it didn't.
Okay,
I,
so
I'm not very proud of the first mix of the W.A.S.P album. Born Again just came out a year before that.
yeah,
I'm a guitar dude. Come on, W.A.S.P, little puny guitars.
yeah,
It's all vocals. It's all about,
yeah,
so,
I hear you.
but yeah.
So, anyways, as I told you before we recorded, I mean, my interviews are kind of funny or silly. Maybe Sarah or
Yeah.
Catherine's watched one or two, but I'm like this. I'm thinking, what's a unique question to ask, during an interview, right? So I got one. Okay, you ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Big picture question. What would your 5-year plan be if you were the CEO of this company?
Of what company?
Well, this one.
The
That's the unique question. Google got it as I was talking about a job interview.
right.
But
What would I do if I was the CEO?
yeah,
I would make sure all the money is separated up so all employees get paid a fair amount. Instead of just the CEO make $1 million and everybody else just makes 50,000 a year. No, I'd split it up so everybody makes an equal amount.
wink, wink. I love the answer. We weren't looking for that. I was just trying to be silly, but
That,
no, that's a good answer, man.
is that too serious?
No, that's awesome. I love it. I love it. It's honest. It's honest. That's what the show is about. Now, who are your
You, you
guitar
know, you,
influence?
you,
Go ahead.
you know what? Check this out. Um, you know how much money Elon Musk makes?
Um, he doesn't have to lift a finger
Well,
to
I
make.
think he's charging a little too much for Teslas.
He
He ought
what?
to get. I think he's charging a little too much for Teslas. He ought to give some money back to those people who bought them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. This what if you want to be a, but if you're just a money hog, just power, power, power. If that's what it is, and do it. But it's
Well, those Tesla cars, I mean, there's a lot of controversy. The batteries apparently come from cobalt mining, which comes from the earth, and apparently they run through the bottom of the car. So if there's a fire, you're up. So
a
there's
fire. Have you seen what happens when it gets underwater? They short out and blow up.
well, you're not. I don't know if you're supposed to drive them underwater.
Well, what happens if you drive one if it rains and you go
Oh
into some
yeah,
water?
a flood. Yeah,
So
good
you're
point.
screwed.
Yeah.
There was a picture of a guy who had a Tesla and he had a camera in his garage. And during one of the hurricanes just a few months ago in Florida, that this water surge came in and you could see it on the camera. And all of a sudden it got up to about seat level. The Tesla was a little bit underwater and it exploded. It just
Yeah.
it almost blew up, burned the guy's house down.
You know
Yeah.
what? That's a good point. Here's another good point. What happens to your cell phone when it's cold out to the battery?
I think batteries work better in the cold, but they don't.
No,
I was
they go the power goes they drain quicker.
My dad always stored them in the refrigerator. I don't know why.
Oh, but I'm just saying a regular cell phone like this in Canada, if it gets cold, your battery dies quicker. So
Really?
in Canada here, I don't understand people that are buying Teslas to drive it in the winter because if you're stuck in the middle of somewhere and your car won't start because the battery's draining too quick, then you're kind of screwed. At least gasoline goes anywhere, but I'm not pro or against, I just have my opinions, but
Yeah. I would have a little mini generator that works off of like a diesel, not a
yeah.
diesel, but a Briggs and Stratton. But then you got to have gas in the car if you get
Yeah.
stuck somewhere, and you can charge it up, or a bicycle. with a pedal, with a generator,
Yeah. So you're very are you on the border? Like I know my Europe, but I think are you on the border with Germany or very close?
No, no, we're very close to Italy.
No, but how far is Germany?
It's a long way. It's a ways away. You got if by the crow flies straight like Berlin, you got to go through Switzerland.
Yeah.
It's on the other side of Switzerland. I could be in Germany in about maybe 9 hours, 8 hours.
Okay.
I'd have to I'd have to drive through. You can drive through Italy and then Milan, and then you go up through Switzerland and go through it. There's a tunnel up there called the San Bernardino Tunnel. I know that because San Bernardino, California, is the
Yeah.
name of that. When I drove through it, it's 26 miles. The tunnel, long, long. But you could either do that or else I can go through Leon. The other was just through the Alps, and there's not too many roads through the Alps.
So the reason I bring it up, we're talking about cars. I couldn't believe what happened in Germany yesterday with that guy plowing through all those people.
Yeah, I saw that on the news this morning.
That
Was he in a car? Just a regular car? I don't know.
he was a Saudi
Yeah,
national, and
a
he was
doctor.
driving a BMW.
Oh, so it was a regular car. It wasn't a semi truck.
I think it was no. From what I read really quick through on X, was it was a BMW.
Yeah. Well, that Christmas market a few years ago, probably 8 years ago, the guy drove a semi truck through there.
Was that right?
Yeah. Then the one in Nice, the guy drove a big, huge bobtail, semi. It wasn't a semi truck. It was a big, like the size of a semi truck, except it had a big box tail on it. There's only two axles.
Yeah,
A hard one to stop.
for sure.
Yeah.
So have you got all your holiday shopping done, Chris?
Yeah, I went today. We went with my wife. This was I once we got out, I was thinking, I go, today's Saturday. She goes, yeah. And I go, and then the next holiday's Christmas. She goes, I go, man, it's going to be murder on the streets.
Oh,
It was a little traffic. It was all right.
Yeah.
It just took a little bit of time. Yeah. All my shopping's done. I don't have too many people to buy stuff for. I mean, my brother's still alive. He's out in Palmdale. My sister's in Cody, Wyoming, and the rest of my family's gone.
Do you ever go back to see your family, or do they come out to see you in France?
I saw my sister a year and a half ago, and my
Okay.
brother just one day. Saw my sister. My dad had passed away 2 years ago. My mom 3 years ago.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, you don't live forever, man.
No.
We're all gonna go someday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said you're a senior citizen, but I remember thinking, reading the news a couple years ago that they were trying to make the working age in France 70. Do you remember that?
That's France.
Yeah. So you're a
Yeah.
senior citizen in America because you're still a citizen,
Yeah.
but in France you're not. So you're a pretty young guy in France.
Well, yeah, when, but you can collect 62 is when you stop working in France.
Oh,
When you
really?
collect, yeah, they want to make it back. They want to make it up to 65.
Okay, that's what. Yeah, I knew there was something that there was
Yeah.
blowback.
Yeah.
Favorite. I'm gonna ask you a couple quick questions and let you go. You've been awesome with your time. I'll leave links down below for people to check out the documentary and to see your shows in Canada. We'll promote it. Do you have a favorite Canadian musician or artist?
I like Brian Adams.
Okay.
You
Brian.
know, Helix are my friends.
Oh, Brian, yeah.
I haven't seen them for a long, long, long time, but friends on the road, I'd like to see some of the guys. I've never met Anvil, but I'm sure the guy Lips is probably pretty cool guy. I've seen his documentary. Yeah, Brian Adams is killer. I love him.
Yeah.
And hey, my favorite, Neil Young.
Well, he's an American now.
But he came from where?
Yeah, he was from Canada. He was born in
Yep.
Canada.
Yep, he's Canadian, regardless of whatever. That's his birthplace.
Right on.
He's one of my favorites, all-time favorites. I mean, he's not the best player. I mean, look where I came from, Pasadena, California. Who's from there? You know, I mean, come on. You know, and Neil Young's one of my favorite.
Yeah,
It's funny.
it's not necessarily about you got to have the whole package. Like you, I read something that you wrote that there's some players that are so good. The difference is you feel blessed because you're lucky, you're confident enough to be able to play on stage, whereas they're great, but they don't have that personality to get up on stage.
I've always loved that's but I mean I can record whatever, you know, whatever, do this and that, but my what I like doing the most is playing live. I mean,
Right on.
but I'm, you know, I'm 66 and I can't it's like almost like being a professional ball player, you know, just like you're gonna play in the NBA till you're 40 something and that's it. I'm surprised Tom Brady played as long as he did, man.
Yeah.
You know, been to his 42. Woo! Right?
Yeah.
You know, man, give that guy credit, you know.
Yeah.
So but anyway,
So,
it's music on stage, entertaining wise. I mean, you
yeah.
can play, you can, as long as you can stand, you can play. But entertaining wise, you know,
Yeah.
so yeah.
That's a gift in itself because some people can play just just around the fretboard, but as soon as they see people are watching them, they can't they focus on that and their playing goes to shit. Whereas somebody like you have confidence, you're just in your natural realm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And I love to play because like usually a lot of the, you know, when the guitar solo comes, I like to play what I feel.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, a lot of there's most of the times in W.A.S.P, I'd get in trouble for doing that. I'd have to play the solos note for note. You got to play the same melody. But when I play the Mean Man, I just play what I feel. You know,
Yeah.
and there's a lot. We make a lot of mistakes live, but what makes the difference between a pro and not is a pro can make a mistake and cover it up, and you can't tell.
That's right. That's right. You just slow down with the next note, or you do a dive or a bend, or
Yeah, yeah,
nobody
whatever.
knows.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah.
So, last question. What's the
What
opposite of unsubscribe?
would be subscribe?
Everybody do as legendary Wasp guitar player and mean man, Chris Holmes, who's not such a mean man, and subscribe to the channel. I'd like to thank you again for taking the time out of your schedule, and I thank your wife for setting this up for sure. And I'm gonna try to see if I can come and see that show with you at that show in Canada.
Yeah, sometime in March. I don't know exactly when, but yeah, yeah, we're gonna play there for sure. You
Right
know,
on.
yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot, Chris.
Cowabunga.
Cowabunga.
All right. Yeah, cowabunga.
I'll call you.
That could mean, well, this could mean drinking. You know, it's better than going metal, dude. You know, horns up. That's the
Yeah,
devil,
yeah.
whatever. This is surfer. You know, surfers do that, or else it could be drinking.
Well,
In England,
this one
huh?
here, I just found out that this is the Mano Corputa. It's an Italian thing. It means peace and good energy. I got my girlfriend a pendant for Christmas, and I
Okay.
didn't realize that. I already
Yeah.
gave it to her, so people watching the interview don't think that I just blew it. She got it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
Cool, man. Merry Christmas.